Eastern Conference champion. You about to see it again like a rerun. But this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, it's like winter. So put your hands in the air and cheer. Knicks 2000, this is our year.
Say, go New York, go New York, go.
Go New York, go New York.
All my people say, go New York, go New York, go.
Go New York, go New York, go.
New York be about the Knicks, huh? Ed Lover be about the Knicks, huh? New York be about the Knicks, huh? Ed Lover be about the Knicks. Everybody say, go New York, go New York, go.
Go New York, go New York.
All my people say, go New York, go New York, go.
Go New York, go New York, go. I want the arena to give me a sign and make more noise than New Year's Eve at 11:59. Nevertheless, New York's one of the best. Who is it? K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say, go New York, go New York, go.
Go New York, go New York.
All my people say, go New York, go New York, go.
Go New York, go New York, go.
Oh, good afternoon, Nick Nation. What an introduction. Oh, my goodness. Welcome to another edition of Nick's Dreams. Brought to you by, tonight, rather, we are joined by none other than the Dream, Santana, and yours truly, Henry 2.0. Today, we will be discussing our last
Oh man, he froze up. Okay, we'll be discussing the last game that we played against the San Antonio Spurs, and then of course tonight's game against the Detroit Pistons. With that being said, let me just say to the Knicks universe, we're gonna be posting the link to join the panel if you want to join the discussion, or if you want to just chat with us, you can drop your comments in the chat, and we'll definitely respond in kind. With that being said, I'm gonna do a nice little bounce pass to my man Dream so he could kick it off, give us his take on what he thought about the Spurs game.
Appreciate it. I'm gonna just come down the middle with a little lefty layup, keep it nice and simple, just to start up the game. Man, what can we say about this one? This was a Southwest Smackdown, bro. This is horrendous. Basically, what I did with this game after I watched it, I just threw it out and forgot about it because we had talked about this being a possibility that we might approach it, or it ended up this way anyway, right? I threw it out there last time. I was like, maybe we'll concentrate on just trying to win those Detroit games and then just let this one just be a flop and take it on the chin, right? I don't think that's necessarily what they were trying to do, but it looks like it's going to end up being that way anyway, right? So, it is what it is. I mean, we had an okay start, a sad middle, and a bad ending. You know what I'm saying? So, we managed to squeak out of the first quarter, 25-23. The second quarter was similarly 26-24. We never really played well to be in the game. I just think we made enough plays in the first half to keep ourselves in the game and make it look like we had a shot. Second half, 68-46 San Antonio, man, they just whopped us. It wasn't even enjoyable to watch. Even letting these young guys get some run outside of Quickly was a struggle. And even he put up a ton of shots to get his points, So, it was a whole bunch of things you could have pulled from this and said negative. But in the end, it's one game on the road. We're still on a decent run. And, that being said, I don't want to beat these guys up too much. So I'll softly toss it back over to Santana.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
We knew going into this game that, well, at least, some of us predicted that San Antonio would win. I mean, because they're a more disciplined team. They're a better team, overall. I mean, they've been great for 20 plus years. That just doesn't fall off the wagon, not that franchise. And of course, with their coach, Popovich, he is, he's the cream of the crop in the coaching business in the NBA. So any guy that's getting run on that team is going to come and play his style of basketball. And that's winning basketball. That's what it all boils down to. Obviously Tibbs' hand was forced in this game because he didn't have Derrick Rose. He didn't have Elfrid Payton. So he had to play the youngsters, which is good. Yes, they got drubbed. But you know what? It's a good lesson for them. This is the way that they get to see, okay, this is what we got to measure up to. This is the kind of basketball that we need to strive to play. They're not, yeah, you can see that from the bench, but when you're in the game and you're experiencing that in real time, that's a whole nother ball of wax.
Yeah.
And that's an experience that they got out of it. Of course, they were outmatched. But on the flip side of that, Tibbs, has to be even more, deliberate in his play calling and force these guys not to go out there and freestyle, but to try to run plays, to try to execute plays. Whether you hit or not, the bottom line is learning how to run plays in those circumstances. In terms of quickly, yeah, he scored a lot of points, but, they're like what I think you said a while back ago. Sometimes when you eat junk food, it's empty calories.
Yeah.
Well, that's empty calories there because you can score all you want, but if they're insignificant points, it don't mean squat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yes, he has the potential of scoring, and that's okay. But I want to see more from him. I want to see him expand his game to be able to help set up his teammates, which is something that he hasn't proven yet. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take time, but this is an opportunity for them to look at the tape and say, okay, you know what? We need to go out there and we really have to play more disciplined basketball so that we could be more competitive. We can earn the minutes that we want to get during games that we're expected to win. And the games that we're not expected to win, at least give our team a chance to win. You know what I'm saying? So with that said, I'm going to drop it down to my man 2.0 who got disconnected there. So go ahead, 2.0.
Okay, so as I was saying, I felt that game was a debacle. We got Trey Lyles. We got some other no-name players out hustle us and out muscle us in a game that and by the way, the notorious the guy that you all were touting, he got a man. Yo, he beat us down with his 14 points, man.
Mm-hmm. Try to tell you, man. He was making fun of him the whole time.
I mean, don't go to sleep on that boy, man. He got 14 whole points all by himself. So, I don't know where you guys think that this guy is all that, you all make him out to be. But anyway, it wasn't him that beat us. It was our defense that beat us. We had none. We left it in Detroit. And like I said before, you keep on overplaying those guys in the last 5 minutes of a blowout, and this is what happens. And I said it during while we were chatting during the game, and I don't know if it went through or not, but I'm saying it again, just in case some of you didn't hear it. If he continues to overplay those guys in games that he should be taking them out and let those young guys run, and I don't care if they let a 20-point lead get away and they win by 1. But at least they get that experience. That's the time to get experience. Now, when you're getting beat down, because when you get beat down, people start playing solo. Okay? And yes, I agree with the empty calories of the 20-something points that quickly got. But I don't think that it was a bad percentage. It wasn't like 9 out of 30.
It was close. It was 8 out of 21.
8 out of 21.
So that's not great.
That's not great either. That's only 30% or something, close to 30%.
Real quick.
Okay.
The not great part about that, though, because I was going to talk about that, but since you brought it up, the not great part about that is that he shot 6 for 13 on threes. So that means going to the basket, he did 2 for 8. That's the bad part of that, is the 2 for 8 inside the 3-point line. The 6 for 13, that's great. I'll take that all day. But around the basket, 2 for 8 for you? No, that doesn't work. And that's the part that hurts about it. And that's why I say the empty calories come in, because like you make fun of the 14 Patty Mills, but he hit the 3 at the end of the half, the dagger threes in the third and the fourth quarter. Like those, I'm not saying he dominated the game, but he hits the dagger threes that get you. Go ahead, kick it back.
No, you on point, and that's why. Yeah, I said it. Patty Mills. Yes, I said it. Okay, I'll say it again. Patty Mills. is significant points and also is what he's doing to help his teammates get a better shot and what he does on defense. He's not all world beater. You don't need all world beater. Rondo is not world beater, but he makes the plays. He makes the plays that can break a team's back. That's what it's about. In a way. Exactly. It's significant. But with that being said, let's introduce Bill Stradamus. No, not yet. Okay. Bill Stradamus got to take a break. But nonetheless, that's part of the plan. You got to recognize who are the players that we have to watch out for. Why? Because they know how to set up the other guys. If you're talking about no frills guys being being able to deliver, how did they get to deliver? Somebody got them the ball. Somebody told them where to go on the floor, what to do, how to defend, where to go. That's why it happens. That's the value. That's the value in a Patty Mills because he has championship experience, and on top of that, he's the vet on that team. And if Pop needs him, he has to. 14 points. And I got to look up his assists and the other stuff that he's done to contribute to the victory to help his team. That's the value. But, I don't want to belabor the point because there's no convincing him. And that's okay. You don't have to accept it. But the bottom line is he made a difference. And on our end, when we're talking about our Knicks, again, and 2.0 said it and I said it previously, when you're down by that many points, that's when you have to be that much more disciplined. You can't go out there trying to just be ISO this, ISO that. That's not going to work. You know what I mean? You got to be more. That's when you take, as a coach, I'm saying to my guys, okay, we're not going to win this game, but let's try to execute some plays. Let's learn. Let's make sure that we run plays so we learn how to execute plays. That's what it's about. So, Bill, are you ready for us, Bill Stradamus?
I want to talk about Patty Mills, but I think
talk about him. But if you want to save it till 2.0 get in there, you could do that too. But say what you want to say.
I'm going to wait, man. We got washed. We got washed. We lost every single quarter, and and that was the result of things.
But we called it, Bill. We called it.
Yeah. But we called it. Although we were hoping that we were wrong.
True.
And the guys that showed up for them, like during the game, I think 2.0 had chatted, like, who are these guys? They're like the
guys that beat us. That's who they are.
That's who they are.
That's who they are.
That's the guys. That's the guys that San Antonio plays against us. That's it.
On the roster, they beat us. Like brothers like T. Lyles dropped 18 on us. Who is he? He's one of the guys that beat us. Murray. Well, we knew Murray was going to give us a game. Then the guy Walker, he has 11. Patty Mills, 14. Samanik, 14. Eubanks, 8. Diop, 8. K. Johnson, 9. That was a team effort. They washed us. There's no excuses, and it is what it is. We lost by like almost 30. What was it? Was it 119-93? What's that, like 26 points? Meanwhile, on our end, like I heard one of you guys saying, it's like we tried to, as soon as we get down, we try to play that hero ball to bring us back. The discipline of moving the ball around and getting back on defense, all of that goes out of the window because somebody feels that I'm going to do enough to bring us back and win the game. Quickly tried it. Randall tried it. That's just not our way of playing ball. And therefore, I got to get my last shot in on you 2.0. When the tide changed, I don't know if you guys mentioned this, at the half, when Patty Mills hit that 3, that seemed to turn everything around. Although they were already up. But they were up by like what? 2, 4. They were up by 4 at the half. But at that point, they were only up by 1 point. Patty Mills dropped the 3. They're going to the half up by 4. Then
That's Latino defense.
And then No, Ntilikina. Actually, I looked at the play. Ntilikina was held, right? But he was trying to go over. It was a pick for Patty Mills, and Ntilikina was trying to fight through it, but the big man was holding him. But
He was
yeah,
not
it
supposed
is
to
what
let
it
him.
is. It is what it is. However, we had one of our typical third quarters and lost that quarter by 15. So now we're down 19 going into the fourth quarter. And then did we, step on the gas and do anything? No, they won that quarter by 7. Thus, a 26-point victory over us. So therefore, there's nothing really to say. We got washed and hung out to dry, and that's just it. I don't know if you guys mentioned any of that, but let me pass it. Who am I passing it off to? Am I passing it off 2.0?
Next door.
No. Let me get to a secure location in my driveway, and then I'll talk.
Okay. Well, then let me pass it. Let me give a chest pass up top to the Dream.
Oh, thanks for the pass, and I'll come with a nice bang tomahawk on somebody right there. Obviously, no Rose changed the entire dynamic of how this game was going to go for us. I don't think any of us, when we made our predictions, understood Rose was going to be out. And then, all of a sudden it's like, wait, Ntilikina starting. Oh, okay. We'll see what happens. That's what happens. You know what I'm saying? It just it was a downhill. It just affected everything, and the avalanche started right there. That was the beginning of the snowball. Okay. So outside of that, mostly everybody on the team hit a wall. There was the blackout in Texas, and the Knicks fell right into that. They came with no energy also. So that was it was a wrap for that, and we already talked about it quickly and stuff like that. Basically, these last little bit of stats that I wrote down, 16 turnovers for New York in that kind of a game, over, right? And San Antonio, I'm just going to give you the numbers. They completely, even by the numbers, destroyed us. They led in rebounds, assists, points in the paint, and threes made. And that's the end of my analysis. I'll toss it back to Santana.
Yeah. So this goes to show us the value of Derrick Rose and Elfrid Payton. Okay? Because if we have neither of them, we're in trouble. If we have neither of them, we're in trouble. One of them gives us a chance to win. Both of them gives us a better chance to win.
Yeah.
But when we have neither of them, now we got to depend on the Frank, on the Quickleys to handle the ball, to run the point. They're not that caliber players. And so that's why we have to be very mindful of how we talk about the Paytons and the Derrick Roses of the world, not because, they're phenomenal in their respective areas right now, because they're both at the tail end of their careers, but because of what they bring to this team at this time. Mm-hmm. And that's very important. Otherwise, we're going to be in a situation where we're not going to be realistic about our expectation. This is why it's so important to be mindful of minutes and being able to mix it up a little bit. They saying supposedly that it could have been a COVID, protocol issue for Derrick, but yet he may play today. He may be available today. If it would have been COVID, it would have, that's a mandatory 5-7 games.
Right.
Okay. I don't think that's the real reason. The real reason is, I've told you guys, the guy was dragging his leg. Okay. Mm-hmm. He was dragging his legs on Saturday night. Trying to play defense. And then, Yes. 38 minutes against the Pacers and 30 minutes against Detroit. That's the reason. But they're not going to say that.
No.
But we're going to say that because we're keeping it real. Right? 2.0, we keeping it real. Too many minutes for Derrick Rose, which contributed to him not playing in the last game. And now all of a sudden he may be available for today's game. If it would have been COVID related, he wouldn't be available for today's game. Because COVID, they got to take at least 4 days off.
Right. I think isn't it 10 days and however many games fall in that, you are not allowed to play. I think
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So again, this is why it's so important for us, for Tibbs to be very judicious with the distribution of minutes, especially with our veteran guys, because we cannot afford them guys to get hurt. Because if we get hurt, we just got a preview of what it could look like with the Franks and the Quickly running the point. 2.0, take it away.
Let us not forget that we are also short-handed at the center position. Okay, the whole things began to change when Mitchell went down. Then they got worse when Taj went down, and now we are depending upon Nolas logging all these minutes at the center position. And I think Santana mentioned it the last time. And that's the only thing I think I agree with him the last time when he said that we are one injury away at the point guard position from becoming, a sub 500.
Yeah, he froze up again. Yeah.
Okay. And I don't think that he should even let those guys practice. I don't think he should be practicing. He should be doing an Allen Iverson.
Okay, Henry, you're breaking up. Wherever you are, it's not a
Those minutes on the court matters. Are going to do something like that. I don't know, that they see it that way. That they meaning the coaching staff. But between him and Nolan Noel, they should be relaxed a little bit on the practice thing. Let them do the walkthroughs, but none of this hardcore running 5x5 up and down. Basically, if you would have said that Aldridge and Gay wasn't playing, and I think they had another guy sitting on the bench that is also part of the starting unit, I would have said we were going to win by 26. But we limped in there, okay, tired, and we let this bunch of G leaguers and another Kentucky guy who has been another disappointment, Trey Lyles, hit 3 or 4 threes there in that third quarter, okay, along with 2 of them from that juggernaut. What was his name again? The juggernaut that they have on the bench, coming off the bench. Nobody knows now, sir.
You didn't forget.
Huh?
You didn't forget.
You didn't forget.
No, the juggernaut, man.
No. Yeah.
I heard you went ordered his jersey after the game.
The world beater. I know you guys are wearing his shirt underneath for your Knicks stuff, right? Because you were all saying how great he was. But anyway, I would have predicted that we were going to win by more than just 10 points based on what they had on the thing. But now we had our own problem. We got no point guard. So no point guard. Like they used to say in the Chinese laundry, no ticket, no laundry. So no point guard, no win. So I'm glad to hear. I think Santana mentioned that we are that Rose might be come back in this game, huh?
That's the rumor.
So shit. It's only a rumor. That's not a definite.
I don't know the final starting lineup.
We need him back on the court. And you said, I think it was
we don't know.
Yeah, I think that it was an injury issue, not a COVID-19 protocol nonsense. That was just an excuse. So I'm hoping that he will be with us today, because we need to go into this All-Star break on a high note. Okay, we can't lose 2 in a row. It's a bunch of bums. Not after Indiana. You don't lose to the nameless San Antonio Spurs, and then to the less than nameless Detroit Pistons after having beaten them by whatever it was, 19, I think it was. Okay, so yes, we need to get back on the winning track and move it from there. And I'm still waiting for your boy Toby to show up, man. Okay, Santana. Yeah, I'm talking to you, man. You keep on telling me that he's gonna show up one day. Okay, so give it to Nostradamus, who predicted that we were gonna lose that game, even though they had nobody on that squad. We lost
Well,
for G League.
Yeah, Bill, take it away.
We did. I guess you're right. But those G Leaguers are in the league. I call them the creative players. That's a little that's a take from the 2K1, the video game.
Mm-hmm.
They on certain teams, they don't know who's on there. They just make up these people. And they give them the last name Brown, and they just put them on the edge of the bench.
Hilarious. That's
what they do. So those are the guys that beat us the other night. Now, the reason Obi couldn't get off because he didn't have any point guards in there passing him the ball.
There you go.
Say it again, please. Say it again. I don't even want to say it. Say it again. What you said?
He didn't. Frank, as much as we like Frank to get run and all of that, Frank had 25 minutes. He scored 13 points. He had 2 rebounds and not 1 assist. How you a starting point guard and you don't have not 1 assist? Come on.
He's not your point guard.
Then quickly, he came in there, guns a blazing. He played 29 minutes. That's almost 30 minutes. He scored 26 points. He had 4 rebounds and 4 assists. So from outside looking in, you would think, he had a good game. But he took, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't see his shooting stats. What did he shoot, Dream?
8 of 21. I'm telling you.
8 of 21? Oh, my goodness.
And 6 of 13 was from the
downtown line, which is good.
Yeah.
But his 2-point shooting.
The 2-point shooting was horrendous. I was it. Yeah. I ain't going to do it. 2 of 8. I'm not going to do it.
He's doing all of these floating and hoping. That's what Uncle Clyde should pen down. Quickly out there floating and hoping.
Oh, God.
And then back to Tibbs. We only have 1 center, Noel. In a blowout game like that, why would you let that man play 37 minutes?
I don't know why, yeah.
Yeah, you could have given Knox some more run. Okay, Knox had 18 minutes. Give Knox an extra 10 minutes. Let him play 25 to whatever minutes. You weren't winning that game.
Nah, just go small ball. Who cares?
He was in there in the 4th quarter, so in the blowout game in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
Then
he was in the game.
Then our marksmen, they didn't show up. Bullock, our marksman, with 3 points. The other marksman, Burks, with 4 points. And he played them 21 and 22 minutes. I don't understand that. Give those minutes to the younger guys. We was not going to win that game. So I don't know what you want. What you want from us, Mr. 2.0. We had no defense. And then I want to make a point also. Go ahead. We didn't have our point guards in there. However, the first game that Rose started and he did well and all of that, I was looking at these other podcasts and they were all throwing Elfrid Payton out of the door. They were sending him away, talking about when he comes back, Rose has to still be the starter, and I cannot disagree with them anymore. I was like, I hope that game showed all of them that Rose is good to us for 25 minutes max on one of his hot nights, but he needs to come off the bench. And we are sorely missing Elfrid Payton. We are sorely missing that dude. As badly as everyone wants to talk about him, he has clearly been our second best player this season, and we are seeing it now. We're missing him. So hurry up back, Elfrid. And I'm sorry for these other guys, not on this show, of course, but the other guys out there who doubted you, who continue to doubt you, and who don't really actually see your worth. I see it. We need that brother back like yesterday. And then tonight's game, although we didn't transition, if Rose is not playing, don't think we're gonna go in there and walk over them creative players either. Those guys are gonna give us a better game than the last time we played them when we had Rose. So if Rose doesn't play, we're in for another tough scrap. So with that being said, let me take a look to my left, bounce it with the right hand up top to the Dream.
Nice. And I'm gonna take it down in the post and skyhook them. So what else can we really talk about this game? There's really not much more. I mean, I think we left it all out on the table. We really can't beat them up too much more, right? We went in there tired. This is what happened. And we kind of were talking about this games ago. Finally caught us, and so now we have to drag through this segment just to get to the next thing. But these kind of games when we're missing guys and we don't play well, and we realize some of the other guys' development is not coming along the way we would like. This starts opening the door for March conversations about the trade deadline. So, those kind of things are fine too, because, you're going to have a game like this once in a while. And we need to bring that up. We need to be serious about what's going to happen for the next half of the season. We don't really want to see too many games like this. This is like the bottom of the barrel. And then you got like the Sacramento game where you scored 140. That's like the top end of the barrel where everybody's hitting everything, right? So it's like, to have those basically in the same week, at least we have reason for this kind of a beatdown. This wasn't like we brought the full team in there and, we'll just use Detroit since they're playing them. One night they lose to us by 19. Yesterday they go beat down Toronto by like 20 points or something like that. So it's like, and so there's a lot of weird stuff going on in the NBA this year. People being in and out really affects teams on a day-to-day basis. And, we got to hope that we get enough of our horses so that it doesn't affect our overall team chemistry and output. With that being said, I'll send it across a long cross-court pass to the three-point line, Santana.
So the only silver lining that I can draw from this game is the following. The young guys got minutes. They got experience. Even though it was ugly. They can learn from this on what not to do so that when they get that next opportunity, they understand the value of play calling, executing, and having a game plan. Not trying to go solo, not trying to, play hero ball, because that's not going to work. That type of approach is not going to work. So if there's anything to gain from this particular game, that is it. That's the lesson. And hopefully, and I'm sure this will be a great film session for Tibbs to be able to explain to them how is it that San Antonio, who have young players just like us, were able to out-execute us, out-hustle us, and out-play us. This is where we went wrong. This is what we need to do to tighten up. And nobody can argue. The results are what they are. The score is what it is. So that's an opportunity to grow and learn from that. So with that being said, now we're going to transition into tonight's game. So now that we're going to be playing Detroit for the second night, not necessarily on a back-to-back, but in between games, what do you expect? I'm throwing this out there. I'm going to, flip it over to you, Dream. What do you expect the outcome to be of this game? How do you expect each team to go about playing each other in your analysis?
Okay, so I mean, like I said, last night Detroit went and beat the brakes off of Toronto. Like they had two guys triple-double. Dennis Smith Jr. triple-doubled, and so did Plumlee. And Wayne Ellington threw in 25 points, and he started. So it was crazy. They had six guys in double figures. 3 of those guys had 20 plus points. I mean, they really put it all in. Their bench had 56 points from a bunch of rookies and G leaguers. That's what we were just talking about, with San Antonio and stuff. Even though I think they're a more higher skilled team with some of their unknown players, even though we don't know them, they do have some skill. These guys on Detroit, they're fairly new and either coming out of the G League, and they hit 23 pointers last night. So this is not at all the type of performance that they brought against us at all. And I think it's mostly more what we brought to the table, how we stymied them. You know what I'm saying? Like, we slow people down from what they're trying to do. So, but they completely let loose against Toronto, and Toronto is not a blowover team either. We lost to Toronto earlier in the year, and they did all that without Jeremy Grant. So, they are clearly going to put the last Knicks loss out of their head because they're just going to remember what happened last night. So I'm just hoping that the back-to-back works in our favor. But I'll hold off on the rest of my analysis. But I will drop a nice between the legs pass to Bill Jones.
Thank you, sir. And I'll take it, and I'll just do a finger roll. But I'll be inside of the foul line. I don't want to do a quickly type of float. I want to
float and hope. Float and hope.
Float and hope. I want it to go in. Now let me ask you, Dream, with that beatdown that happened last night, who was everybody there for the Raptors or no?
No, they had a bunch of players out.
Okay.
But
the Pistons went in there and did what they were supposed to do, basically.
The Pistons went in there and did more than they were supposed to do. Is how I feel. I mean, like I always feel like
DSJ had a triple double.
They had 2 guys triple double.
And DSJ was one of them. Oh, wow.
DSJ was one of them. Even if they were low point triple doubles, like 10, 11, and 10, let's say, something like that, or something on the low end. But still, to have 2 guys triple double in the same game. And then Ellington dropped 25. It's like they went in and did way more than they were supposed to,
Wow.
So.
Okay. Well, with that being said, my statement from the last go around stands firm. If we don't have Rose tonight, we're going to be in for a tough game, a much tougher game than we had against these guys on what was that, Monday or Sunday? Sunday or Monday?
I think it was Sunday.
It's going to be a tough game. So we cannot go in there thinking, oh, well, we can just bounce back. We just beat these guys up the other day. San Antonio game, that was an aberration. We'll show you. We're going to get back on track. If you go in there with that attitude, you're going to go into the All-Star break with 2 straight L's. What we got to do is get back to our basics, what makes us a good team, moving the ball around. Well, defense first. Concentrate on that defense. Shore up the 3-point line. Our perimeter defense, as well as our interior defense, has to come to play. Then offensively, move the ball around. Allow Randall to allow the rest of the guys to get into the game, because Randall's at a point now where he knows how to get in and fit in and get his. And he does it within the flow of the game. So we got to get back to that. Our marksmen are going to have to, hit some shots. Bullock and Burks, hit some shots, please. Mr. Quickly, take less shots. Take less shots and worry about running the offense a little better than you have been. Because it seems like now he just gets in and he expects everyone to placate to his style of play. Yeah. He just runs around everybody. He tries to get, he does his little shaking and baking, trying to get an open shot. Don't do that. Especially if you're not playing with Rose. When you're playing out there as the point guard, you're expected to run the team. That means get the other guys involved and take less shots. And a lot of times he's out there with Bullock. Maybe Bullock should be taking more shots than you are. However, Bullock has to go to his spots. You need to know where his spots are. Penetrate, kick out to Bullock for open shot. That is more effective to our offense than you shaking and baking, going behind this screen, calling this big man out to give you a screen so that you can shake and bake and hopefully get an open shot. Or you drive and then you don't even get halfway into the lane and then you're just floating up something that is just not going in any longer. So he has to change his way of playing if he's out there as the point guard. Now, when you're playing with Rose, Rose can to your spots and Rose can hit you and then you can shoot. But when you're running the point, you're expected to get everybody else involved first and then get your shot second. And that's how we've won the games that we've won. The 18 games that we've won, we've shared the ball. And then U-Haul has been able to pull us through, usually in the fourth quarter. The games we've lost is because we get down. They play this one-on-one ball that doesn't work. And it's just, and other teams are up on it because you see that how they're playing us now with this trapping defense. No matter who's our guards now, they do this to us. They do this trapping defense, and we don't pass over these traps. We try to dribble through. We're throwing bad passes. Our turn-ups are up. These last few games, we've been committing several turnovers compared to our assists. Like this game, how many assists did we have? We had less than 20 assists.
Yeah.
Anytime we have less than 20 assists, we're in the teams with our assists. Most of those times, we've lost those games. Our staple is defense, moving the ball around, controlling the pace of the game, and we give ourselves a greater chance to get the W. Don't want to belabor that point too long. And all of this, it still falls on Tibbs as well. Because although he gave the youngins more minutes, he should have given them even more minutes than he did. Guys like Knox, he should have played Pinson. He should have played Obi more minutes. How many minutes did he give Obi? Obi only had 7 points, but he didn't give Obi any minutes. What he gave Obi, maybe 17 minutes, something like that.
No, he gave him 20-something minutes. Obi's value was rebounding, assists, I think a steal and a block shot, and then of course he scored points without point guard.
Without point guards assisting him, so he got his 7 points. I think he shot whatever he shot, but
he shot 3 of 7.
We have to, that's not bad. 3 of 7, that's what, 40-something%.
Yeah.
Okay. We have to come back to our basics, play our disciplined brand of basketball, and we can get tonight's game. If we do not, and again, if Rose is not there, expect a battle. So with that being said, let me throw a lob
2.0
to 2.0 at the rim for you, big man.
Okay, so I'm gonna take that and do what I normally do with that kind of baby lob. I'm gonna dunk it. So this is what's going to happen tonight. Okay, I'm gonna show up at the game, and I'm gonna talk to Dibs and remind them that game that they had last night was an aberration. That has nothing to do with us, but I just want to mention the fact that that's Detroit had 3 days off. I think they had plenty of time to recoup and get past that whipping that we gave them, and of course they had one of those San Antonio games, a bunch of nobodies that all of a sudden, the basket looked like the ocean. Anyway, so we're going to get back to our staple, which is defense. Okay? Detroit is not a three-point shooting team, in spite of the fact that in that game, if I'm not mistaken, they shot it at 48%, 20 out of 41 last night. They're coming off of they're in the second game of a back-to-back. Yeah, they have motivation, and maybe even the same motivation or more motivation to show that we made a mistake by trading them away. That being Ellington and DSJ. So they're going to come in here and show our fans and that, look at what you're missing. So it is up to our players to, prove that we are better off without them, or that we are just as good with or without them, just like we did in Detroit. Again, Randall will be rested. He did sit him and Mr. J. I'm going to take away the J, Mr. Barrett. Okay,
Barrett, okay. More like it.
Barrett, because of his disappointing showing in San Antonio, but he's still going to show up tonight. Okay, and that's all we need to know. With Randall and Barrett showing up tonight, we got this. That's all I'm going to say. We got this. Take it away, Santana.
Okay, so tonight's game, they gotta come with it. You can't take for granted that Detroit played yesterday, and of course Detroit had a great game. They pulled an upset. Nobody expected them to beat Toronto, regardless of who was playing, for Toronto. Mm-hmm. So, I think that when they come into the Garden, of course they're gonna want to come in and get a get-back game, because we drubbed them in their home. They're gonna want to return the favor coming back. So we have to take that into account. The key in terms of us winning is, how we handle the point guard position, because obviously, if Rose doesn't play, that's going to hurt us. Peyton, I don't expect to play. I don't expect Peyton until after the All-Star break. Right. Okay. Now, Derrick Rose, if the rumors are that it was an isolated game that he was out against San Antonio, maybe that's true, and maybe he plays tonight. Then of course they got a better chance of winning. And I would give the edge to the Knicks. What's also very telling is also Frank coming off the bench and leading that second unit, because Quickly just can't. Quickly is a very talented shooter, but he hasn't learned to play the game from a team level yet at the NBA level. Okay. And just like Mr. Bill said, he was calling guys to set picks so that he could get his shot off.
Right.
He wasn't calling a pick to, do a pick and pop, set someone up like Obi, or if they're rolling to the basket, set them up with a pass down there. That's not what he's doing. So, yes, you want to encourage him to be able to shoot because that's one of his strengths. But do not just lean on him for that, because otherwise, all he's going to be is another ISO for us. And you saw that ISO didn't last. This kid is younger. He has a lot of potential, but he's got to expand his game on the offensive end besides a three-point. His three-point shooting is good because his feet are set. He's square. He gets his shot off. When he goes to the basket, he's thinking whether he's going to float. The minute he starts penetrating, he's thinking about floating. And if he's not within range to float right, he's going to miss the shot. And even when he's at an angle, he cannot hit the backboard for a regular layup.
He doesn't try. He doesn't even try to touch the back.
But he tried against San Antonio. It was ugly. It was ugly, bro. It was ugly. You know what I'm saying? But that goes to show you he has to expand his game. We cannot have guys going out there trying to, play hero ball, as we said before. We can't, because that's a recipe for disaster. That's why we started so methodically, pace, slow down ball, because we needed to run set plays, okay? And when you don't have a point guard in the game, it's even more glaring that you need to do that. Try to run set play. Otherwise, you're going to have everybody coming down, bringing the ball up, and they're going to think, okay, let me get mine. but that doesn't necessarily translate into victories at a team level. So, that's the thing that, we have to be very mindful of. I do give the Knicks a better chance to win, but that point guard situation is going to be the determining factor in whether they win or they lose. With that said, I'm going to drop it off to Dream. Dream, do your thing. Shake them, Dream.
I'm gonna give him a little Houston Harden sidestep 3 on him. So
make sure you don't walk, bro, because that brother's walking all over the place.
They don't call it though.
I'll carry my bus pass. This is New York City. So basically, I'm gonna just take it back to not so much what Detroit did yesterday, because sometimes you have those one-offs. I'm gonna take it back to the last game that we played, right? Because in this game that they played against Toronto, they had 6 guys in double figures. Against us, they had 4 guys in double figures. In that game against Toronto, they had 3 guys 20-plus points. In the game against us, 1 guy with 20-plus points, and that was Grant, who we expected to have the 20 points, right? And their bench against Toronto, 56 points, and against us, they had 43 points, and 15 of those points were from Ellington, who's now in the starting lineup. So we need to take advantage of where our advantage lies. It's in the second unit, still in the second unit. Now, again, the point guard, yes, that's going to be a major determining factor of what happens if Rose plays or if Rose doesn't play, and how that affects the rest of the team going down. But that being said, I mean, like everybody keeps saying, if we just come play our defense, number 1 points against defense. We don't let them get to 129. We don't even let them do anything. We just play the same game we just played Sunday. We stifle them first quarter, second quarter, third, all the way through. That's it. Do what we got to do, right? Because their 23s that they made against Toronto, we bucked that down to 9. And that is more like what they normally make, around 9, something of that nature, right? They're not a 23s made kind of team. So we just play our defense, we'll be okay, right? And with all that being said, I'm gonna title this as Back to Life, Back to Reality. Okay? That's what's going to happen tonight. And I'm going to throw my first score out there, New York 104-97. Okay? And with that being said, I'll toss to the 2.0.
All right. Thank you, Dream. There's nothing else I wanted to add other than the fact that I think Quigley was disrespected by not having him named to the Rising Stars.
I saw that. You guys talked about that.
Respectful to a young man that was a second-round pick, okay, and is playing late first. Well, it felt like second anyway.
Right, might as well have been, right?
It's still, it was like, what, 37 or 38 or whatever. They dropped it to 24 or 27. I think they were interchanging that pick. The point of the matter is, this kid is playing as good as some of those, or even better than some of those first-round picks, including his teammate.
Yeah. It's tough,
and
man.
He's not in the Rising Stars?
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, those kids are good, though. The kids they got in there are good. There's not really too many you can argue about. Who's the guy you really think he should be in for? Do you have one? Because Halliburton's lighting him up.
Halliburton is good, man.
He hasn't done, like, I don't think he's done, he's underperformed in any way, you know what I'm saying? And he came into the draft a higher prospect than Quickly, you know?
But he hasn't, I don't think that he's lived up to the hype. I'm not watching him too closely now.
I know. That's
I'm saying that this guy is playing at a higher level or than he was drafted. While some of those first round picks are not even living up to the hype that they came in with. Including your boy from the Timberwolves. He had 1 or 2 great games. This kid is like, I don't know. Edwards between that, I don't know, say they're good. They have the physical body. They go to the basket stronger. They probably play better defense, but they haven't been playing that way consistently the way Quigley has been scoring.
That don't put Edwards in that game.
Exactly. Exactly. That dunk put him right there.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the dunk, just look it up after we're off. Anthony Edwards dunk. You'll be like, oh, okay, that's why he's in the game. That's why.
But then this is it. This is how we evaluating talent. But
No,
No. I'm just saying, for a Rising Stars game, is the problem is they don't just take all the top talent anymore. They do the U.S. versus the foreign players type of
the
thing.
world
If they just took all the players from wherever,
Right.
then I think he probably would have made it in. You know what I'm saying? But since they're separated now,
but he's not within the first 15 best Rising Stars this year. I mean, under 15
it's
players.
not this year only though. That's the thing. They're doing 2
Right.
years. So it's Ja,
2 years.
it's Zion, it's all those guys too. So that's
like
that's
they do
part of
the
it.
first 2 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Usually they used to do the rookies versus the Rising Stars or something like that, right? And it was like all the rookies. So in that kind of a game, but since they changed the format the last couple of years, that's the only reason. Like it's just technicality, I guess. We'll say. He definitely deserves. He's played his way to deserve to be on that stage. You know what I'm saying? It would have been nice.
He's playing his way into consistent minutes.
Yeah.
As a late first round, not even consistent minutes. Let's call it more minutes than our number one pick. And playing better than our number one pick. Regardless of whether you got a point guard or you don't have a point guard, I understand all of those things that Santana likes to bring up. But even while there was a point guard or two, while he had Elf and while he had Rose, there wasn't that great of a connection as much as Quickly has connected with anybody.
Yeah, I mean the ball in your hands though.
Every player.
Yeah, he always has the ball in his hands, so he could dictate that. That's where Toppin has to wait. He still has to prove to the rest of the guys, I deserve the ball in my hand. Huh?
His jumper isn't there, and why does he keep taking these threes and missing the basket totally?
Yeah, I mean, you'll have that from time to time. I mean, he is a rookie. He hasn't been here for a couple of years.
4 years in college.
Yeah.
Some of these guys played 1 and 2 years in college and are outdoing him.
That's okay.
But and also he's being asked to play differently than he was asked to play.
Then he didn't play in college too. In college, he was getting the ball all the time. It's like this guy was, so we have to slow down on Toppin a little bit. Like we would love it if whatever eighth pick was like, dominant and all that stuff like that. But there's a lot of factors that go into where he is right now in his progress. Being hurt early in the season, not getting the ball. So we already have an all-star at his position. That also has a lot to do with it, those kind of things.
And like I said to you over the chat, that's fine. They disrespect Quickly. Hopefully that'll put a bigger chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And then he'll come out and show, listen, I should have been down there.
Yeah.
And to make it where next season he'll definitely be picked, regardless of what's going on. They'll put him down next season. And I think that's probably his motivation now. Okay. These guys don't think that I deserved it. Let me show them. However, he has to do that within the framework of how the New York Knicks are trying to win and how the New York Knicks are or will be in the playoffs this year and how they're going to play. So he can be a contributing factor while gaining the experience at the same time to where next season, I should say, he'd be a no-brainer. Quickly will be down.
He's a definite weapon because his free throw shooting, he's third in the NBA right now.
Right.
Free throw shooting. So that's a weapon. So he just needs to, he's figuring out how to shoot from deep. He's figuring out how to get himself in space. He needs to figure out 3 of those attempts, those field goal attempts inside at the basket need to be bodied. So he goes to the free throw line and takes those easy points. Pop, out of here. Get a body on it. That's it. They call these cheap fouls all the time. But if he see right now he's floating, and that was the problem Barrett was having. He was like doing these soft floaters and stuff. You see the last couple of games, he's taking physical contact. Even if he's not making the bucket, he's banging these guys hard.
Attacking the rim.
He's getting back to that, attacking the rim. And if Quickly does that a couple of times, I'm not saying he don't have the frame for that, but if he does it a couple of times, against the right thing. Like if you're driving and a guard is there, take the contact from the guard. Don't take the contact from the big man from down low, and then you get hurt. You know, like there's ways you can do things.
But let's not forget that in the beginning of the season, not only was he making the threes, but he was making those floaters.
Right.
Yeah, but then you know,
open up the threes.
floating is precision though. You know, like so. You know, he's also been every couple of weeks we're asking him to change something in his game. Like, you know, first he was like a late round pick. He wasn't getting no minutes. Then you got some minutes. Then you was like, okay, you're a shooter. We're trying to move you into a guard. Then we got Derrick Rose. Now you like, you know, like, so there's a lot of shifting going on with him on his approach to each game too, and what we're asking of him. So, you know, I think sometimes he's going to have that where he's like indecisive, kind of floating. And you're like, bro, I would rather you just stop and pop a jump shot from the free throw line than try to keep going in this little extra one step. Shoot the free throw.
Or he's behind the 3-point line with the guy guarding him, and he's trying to draw contact and
No. I'd rather him do. I think I saw him later in the game. He was staying a little bit deeper, getting the ball deeper, taking 2 steps in to shoot his three.
Right.
Square, deep three. Boom. He has that. When he squares up, it's nice. The rotation is nice. It looks good when it's coming off his hand. And I'm like, wow, that's going to drop. Boom. Yes. Okay, good. But all that other stuff he's trying to infuse into his natural skills, he needs to just take advantage of his natural skills, you know? And that's it. He'll be okay.
Okay, so that was my point about him being snubbed.
Yeah.
Because, you know, most of these things, I give it the eye test.
Yeah.
You know, first, before I go deep into the stats. And my problem is that, you know, I'm looking at New York more than I'm seeing anybody else. And when the only time that I see all these other rookies is, you know, when I find the time to watch, you know, scan the NBA TV or the other games that are going on, or when those teams play us.
Yeah.
And I see them for the whole 48 minutes.
Yeah.
But the eye test tells me, you know, I don't hear much about, I mean, I see this kid doing something really special.
Yeah.
Getting back to tonight's game, you know, it's not going to be every night that those guys are going to end up with, what was it, 39,
43 first point quarter,
39 assists. You know what I'm saying? 3 guys in triple doubles, or 2 guys in triple double. I mean, they only had 10 assists and 14 points, or 11 assists and 10 points. So it wasn't nothing crazy, but it was still assists and rebounds and points.
Yeah.
Yes, but 39 assists and you know, 56 points in the paint. I don't see them doing that tonight against the Knicks.
Nor do you see Plumlee getting a triple-double again, which that was crazy.
Right. So, yeah, what I see is, like Dream said, back to reality. Okay. They, prior to that, what were they? They were averaging, I think it was, let me see, they were averaging maybe 100 and something, I think.
Yeah, great. Like 108.
You know, it wasn't much. Nothing that, you know, they're not a juggernaut. They're not. And are you saying that Jeremy Grant is not playing today? Because I don't see anything about him being
today. I don't know. It's going to be one of those you turn the game on to see who the starting lineup is, because everybody's listed day to day. There's only a couple guys that are really out, like Mitch Robinson and Peyton and stuff like that. And for their squad, it's like day to day. Everybody's listed day to day. So I don't know whether he plays or not. I don't know. You know, I'm not sure what the situation there is, but you know, we'll see.
Okay, so I am going to continue to ride the mechanical bull. I'm going to ride Mr. U-Haul. Okay. And I'm going to get on this bus, and we are going to do 110 to 99.
Yo,
You did it. You did it.
I wrote down my score.
Jinx. He owes you a Coke?
No. He matched my score too, except I'm off a point. I picked the Knicks 110 to 98. He picked 110-99.
Nice.
I'm gonna leave it. I'm not gonna change it. I'm gonna leave it.
change it. That's it.
So, you know, go ahead, Bill.
Santana didn't give us a score, but I agree. You know, like a dream started off this segment, back to reality. So, you know, I'm expecting us to right the wrongs from the other day from Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Turn this around. Now I'm looking at a injury report. It's saying for New York, Derrick Rose health and safety protocol is questionable. Todd Gibson, Alfred Payton are doubtful. Mitchell Robinson is out. So Rose is questionable. Means he may or may not play. It'll probably be a game time decision.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I'm still going to stick with my score 110-98 because we at the crib.
We at the crib.
We at the crib. So you know, whether you're shorthanded or not, when you're at the crib, you gotta hold it down. If someone's trying to, you know, break into your house, if dad ain't home, the kid's gonna have to hold it down.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
We're still expected to get the dub, and I'm expecting at least a double figure win margin. So I'll say 110-98, and I'll throw it back to you, 2.0.
Okay, so you're saying that the babies are going to handle their business today.
Absolutely.
Big time.
Absolutely.
So there is going to be a Toby sighting.
Toby? Yeah.
Why you keep calling him Toby, man? You hurt my feelings.
Because when he becomes Obi-Wan, he's a Toby.
He's Toby? Oh, man. You're like breaking my heart every time I hear you say it. It's like,
I don't know where I got.
My ear wants to turn a little bit, you know.
But it's just I don't know what it is. I'm gonna have to research. Let me see. Toby from Roots. Maybe Toby from Roots.
That's what I thought you were calling him that for, but I didn't know why.
Yeah, that's why I need to know. Is this like just a human error, or is this a reason like you're doing it? There's a reason behind it. Okay, I'm good with that. I'm okay with that.
It's gotta be something that is just going on in my own brain.
Yeah.
But missing Obi for Toby. Who the hell is Toby?
Toby. The last Toby that the Knicks had was Toby Knight, if you can remember him. You remember
Toby
him?
Knight. Okay.
Remember him? He was a forward.
Yeah. He wasn't that bad.
He wasn't that bad. He was decent.
Better though. Maybe that's it. We were expecting more from him.
That's his comp. That's his comp. Toby Knight. Okay.
Toby Knight. Okay.
What was? He was supposed to be. He underperformed for us.
Oh man.
Toby.
If he overperforms at All-Star Weekend, I will be happy, and we'll give him. We'll just make a shirt for him or something.
Yeah, he get a chance. Who's in that, by the way, against him?
Oh, so who ended up being in it was so we got Obi Toppin, obviously from us. We got another kid that jumps out the building. I'm kind of nervous about Anthony Simons from Portland.
From Portland,
he got 40+ leaping ability too. He can get up.
I didn't even realize that about him.
Yeah. You'll see now. Yeah, because a lot of times it's like in game, so you never see like people's real true hops. Except for that guy, Derrick Jones Jr. He always is jumping out the building for everything. It's crazy. But another kid we saw the other day, he dropped a nasty dunk on us from Indiana, Cassius Stanley. I thought it was a different player. I thought it was the kid from Michigan State, and I was like, Cassius Winston, what the hell, you know? Right. But it's not him. It's another kid. I think this kid may be from Duke. I'm not sure. I got to research him a little bit, but he could jump out the building from what I hear, and he had a nasty dunk against us in downtime in Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere in one of those lobs, it was him.
And then
the guy almost put himself through the rim. One of those guys. That was him, apparently. So
and then, but the kid from the T-Wolves, he's not in it.
No, it's just those three.
Wow. I wonder what happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why. I would guess because time time constraints because it's at halftime, so they can't take forever either, you know. So it's probably going to be a dumbed down version of the dunk contest too. I don't even think they'll have 3 rounds. Maybe they'll just have 2 rounds because there's only 3 people, you know. So after the first round, you knock one guy out. Second round, it's head to head.
Okay, and how are they doing the Rising Star game before the All-Star game?
I don't even know because that was news to me. I didn't hear anything about that game going on because in the beginning, before all the All-Star stuff, they were going back and forth, the players and the Players Association, about even having the All-Star game. Like guys like LeBron and stuff didn't want to play. They got him on board to play. And so they were like bringing this stuff slowly into the day. So then they said, we don't want an entire weekend. We're going to have everything in one day. So I don't know where their Rising Star game comes into play. Is it going to be earlier in the day? Because before the All-Star game, the hour before is supposed to be the skills challenge.
Right.
Then the first half, then the dunk contest, then the second half.
half.
I think this kind of cool. It's a whole bunch of stuff going on that day. I'm gonna be squarely plagued on the TV, but you know, I don't know where that puts the Rising Star game. So maybe by I don't know if we're gonna have a show for the All-Star or anything like that, but this might be our last show till we come back against Milwaukee. But you know, I got to do a little research is really my answer for myself because I don't know when they're actually having it and stuff like that. And I just looked at some of the guys that were playing. You know?
And what day is the All-Star game? Is it Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, Sunday afternoon or evening or something like that. But Sunday afternoon is probably going to start the rest of this activities, these other games and stuff like that, and pregame stuff.
The Rising Stars are going to be played on the same day.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know for sure. I'm assuming because all the other activities, the protocol for even having the All-Star game was to do everything in one day.
One day.
Not to have it multiple days, people going back and forth to arenas and all that stuff. Everybody's in-house, one day, boom, and over with, you know?
Oh, okay.
So, you know, and I think they're doing it, I think in Texas or Atlanta. I forget exactly. Atlanta? Okay, Atlanta. Yeah. Texas is something else. I heard something else. I forget.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, I can see the dunk contest and at the halftime. I heard about that.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure about the other game being on the same day, which makes sense. But that means that people are going to be they're not going to make any money on the
So
you got one set of people coming in for that game, and then another set of people coming in for the second game.
the other issue I'm just now realizing is that there's people playing in both games, like Zion. Zion will be playing in that early game, and then also playing he's an All-Star game.
Why would
So how does that work? You know what I mean? So maybe there'll be a late scratch and we can get quickly in there.
You can't, right? That's hard. I mean, I thought that they had them on minutes restrictions and management, load management, and all of that kind of stuff. Why would he play both games?
Not this year.
Not Zion, because they were even.
Zion this year is not,
I think initially they wanted him in the dunk contest, but since he's in the game, he chose the game over being in the dunk contest.
Yeah.
I thought it was because he, of the minutes restrictions that they didn't want.
No, he doesn't have that this year. That's wiped off the table. He just had that last year because he had that little injury coming in, and they wanted to see how his weight was going to correlate with his jumping abilities and all that stuff like that. But this year, that's off the table.
Wow. Well, gentlemen, we come to the end of another session.
Sure.
Hopefully all of your predictions will come true, and you all be smiling into the halfway point of the season and looking forward to better days. I think you mentioned before, either one of you or both of you, that it's going to get a little bit tougher in the second half because we're going to start out with the big boys. We got to play them again. The Bucks, who are OKC. We got
a lot of games. March is tough, and April is even tougher than March. So how we do in March is gonna basically give us an indication of what we can expect in April because April's going to be tougher. Unfortunately, I don't know why they did that to us this season. I thought we started out the season a little bit rough, but it is what it is.
Right.
We still got to just go into these games, play them one at a time, and see where the end of March lays. You know what I mean?
Well-
Teams like OKC, we need to get that win back. We owe them.
Yeah,
They
we
came
owe
in our
them.
house and got us. So we do play. I mean, it was gonna happen.
Look,
Right.
Bucks, Nets, Sixers,
Yeah, Celtics, Belks,
Bucks,
70s, yeah, twice, no,
Twice.
twice. Yeah,
Wizards twice.
yeah. That's not
Nets,
scary though.
And then the Heat, and then the Timberwolves again. That's when it gets weak with the Timberwolves and the even the Wizards. But the Wizards, we played them without their best guy, or arguably their best guy.
Yeah.
But man, we don't see an easy team. Woo!
I mean, just look at our division, man. It's like Philadelphia, the Nets, Boston. Like it's a tough division. It's really hard. Like so I knew those division games were going to come up at some point, right? We've been kind of skating around them. One game against Milwaukee here, another game against the Nets there, Boston sprinkled in, and we actually won 2 of those, right?
Yep.
We're 2-2 against
Milwaukee, right?
We lost to Philly and the Nets, and we beat
And
Boston
we beat
and Milwaukee.
Boston and Milwaukee, right?
So I'm not saying that that's going to happen again, but somehow we went in there and pulled that off unexpectedly. So I'm not, and we whooped Boston
Right.
in their house. Right, we went in their house and whooped them really bad. I think the same thing with Milwaukee. We didn't whoop them, but we beat them, so it was nice.
Yeah.
I think that was a Sunday game, maybe too. So it's possible, and we don't know what the situations of their teams playing against us is going to be when we face them. But schedule-wise, looking down it, those first 10 games in March, it's going to be,
We're going 4 straight games on the road.
Yeah.
Plus Thunder, Nets, and Sixers.
Yeah. Power teams, man.
Woo!
So,
That's how we start
it's
the
okay.
second season.
Huh?
That's how we start the second season.
So we'll see. But you also don't know if a trade might be coming. There's a lot of conversations being had now.
AJ.
Huh?
JJ Redick?
Oh, man.
No, we
They
should do.
called him the other day. I thought it was very fitting. They call him JJ Relic.
Ooh. Ooh.
Radnick?
Huh?
JJ what?
Relic.
Relic. Like an
Relic.
old dinosaur bone, like a relic.
Ooh.
Oh,
Ah,
JJ Relic. I started dying.
Maybe we should do a show like prior to the trade deadline and discuss that thing that you saw that the Notorious threw up there with regard to which team is better, the team that we had prior to trading for Melo or this current team, since it would be appropriate, seeing as how folks want us to go, give up half of the team to go get Beal or this and that. That would be a nice discussion for us to have. We can dedicate the whole show to that.
Just to that. Yeah.
we
Just
can
to
have
that.
conversation.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
So we talked to Commissioner Santana.
Put it on the chat the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we should have a show about it. Like,
Right. No,
a
that
real
was,
conversation. Sometimes the chat is like you read it and you're not having a full-on conversation about it,
that I'm saying that suggestion was the one that was made in the chat
Right.
when we were watching the last game, that we should have a show about it. And
Okay.
but when you just said like give up all of this stuff to bring in Melo, that means we're thinking about giving up a lot of stuff to bring in one guy that's going to make us all better. Well, we got to have that conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has their opinion on
One
it.
guy thing, we got to keep our core.
For the most part. Yeah.
I mean, I think we brought in a bunch of guys for KP. Right? We brought in DSJ. We brought in
a bunch of salary dumps. That's all there was.
It was
Right.
Salary dumps and draft picks. That's all there was. Every time you bring that up, I tell you the same thing. You're like, this is what we got. This is what Porzingis turned out to be. I said, no, we haven't even dove into that yet.
Right. We still haven't
$2
even
million
used
sitting in the pocketbook and 4 draft picks just chilling. When half the league does no longer own their own first round draft picks. So they're going to be at our necks can I get a first round draft pick? What do you want for our team? That's what position that we're in now, plus the
Right.
16 million. So,
And now I see reports
what was that?
where Porzingis, they're thinking about moving on from him.
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw a couple of articles. I didn't read them, but I saw a couple of headings where,
because
they the Mavericks ready to move on from him.
They don't even. Yeah, they're ready. They're ready.
And then I read maybe the first couple of sentences of one of them. They were saying when he was in his prime with the Knicks, and I'm like, really? In his prime with the Knicks? He wasn't in any prime. Meaning, I think that person, the writer, meant that he hasn't been the same with Dallas than he was even when he was with the Knicks. Okay. So then that would lean the trade over in our favor, big time. And then especially based on what Dream just said about all of the stuff that we still have here. Yeah. And then they're over there with him playing, what he's hurt every time you turn around. And when he's there, he'll have a nice game here and there. But maybe
we were like, if we put him with a superstar, they put him with Luka Doncic, and this guy still can't get out of the gutter.
If I'm happy about anything about that particular trade, I mean, aside from the fact that we got a couple of draft picks, it's the fact that we were able to get rid of that $70 million man. What was his name?
Hardaway Jr.
Hardaway Jr.
Noah, Hardaway Jr., all those guys. Lee, contract. Bro, listen, we as fans have to be appreciative of the new generation of leadership at the top. Leon Rose, Perry,
West, whatever his name is.
West, those guys. We need to be so appreciative of the turnaround, right? And subconsciously, we need to be appreciative that Dolan is not getting himself in the way right now. Right now, he's not doing anything to hinder this. Right? He's just letting them do their thing. Go ahead.
The other thing I thought you was gonna bring up was maybe we should do a show pre-draft,
pre-trade deadline.
Pre-trade deadline to have a conversation around, what's out there, what have you heard, what's good for us.
We'll add all of that.
Absolutely.
That's another topic of discussion.
Yeah, because we're not going to have games for a week, so we need to at least have 1 or 2 shows in between.
We can Santana, let's log in on a different day or on any day.
Any day, doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be game day. No games.
And have those 2 separate topics, I guess.
Yeah, separate.
Bundle them together or say them separately, but either way, whatever the consensus is, I'm down with that. And then there was another point that, I kind of forgot because I'm at that stage that if I don't write things down, I forget them that quickly.
Take notes, man. Take notes.
Take notes. I write things down, and then when I look at it later, I say, what the hell is that about?
Take notes, man. Right? I know Bill got the book. I got the book too, man. That's you.
No, but about the trade deadline and about what kind of trades are out there. Not just this hypotheticals about which team would have been better, but also some conversation,
some tangible
available to us,
things that can happen with us.
Yes, that's a definitely
absolutely
that we have. Because the closer we get to the trade deadline, I keep hearing about how there's a push for some of these guys, these all-stars that are going to be free agents or something, to force a trade to the Knicks. Oh, this guy wants to force a trade to the Knicks, and that guy wants to force a trade to the Knicks. And now, as it comes closer and closer to the trade deadline, I wonder which one of those things may or will materialize.
Yeah, that's not for this season, though. When people talk about that,
right?
That's
about right now. Then,
right now, nobody's forcing it.
Right.
It's whoever's available on debt, like last year contracts, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
After our performance in the playoffs this season,
then
you're
gonna have some people feeling that, well, I could have got them over the hump.
You say our performance in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Our performance in the playoffs
this season. Yeah.
Okay, so now let me see. Let's go back to the games that we're going to be playing in the second season and tell me how many of them you think you're going to win.
Well, we'll do
We'll do
that
that next time.
as we go along.
We're going to go through that math. The next thing
Listen,
we still have playoff aspirations over here.
Don't laugh too hard. I did that for February, right? And I said, "Oh, we're gonna have a good February." I actually wrote down 11-4 out of the 15 games. One of those games was postponed, right? The San Antonio, right?
San Antonio.
So that takes that out, right? We ended up 9-5, and we gave away that game to Orlando, so we could have ended up 10-4.
10-4.
So we all know what we're talking about.
Excuse me. You were not playing the Sixers twice. You were not playing.
I'm just saying month by month. That's okay. I'm not saying all that. I'm just saying we accurately.
Yeah, but we need
call what we're watching.
Math, and we want to do those projections, and we need to do all of those.
Oh, I'll do that. Yeah.
With the next round of games. Let's take the next 10 games.
Yeah.
And maybe
I'll do the whole month.
During this layoff.
Yeah. I'll do the whole month. Because I did that with the February, right? I did the whole month, and then I did the first 10 game breakdown, and I wrote down 8-2 in the first 10 games, and then we lost to Chicago and 2 games to Miami in the first 4 games, and I was like, wow, this may not look too good, but we turned it around.
We turned it around,
and you know,
I finished 9-5, so I wasn't that far off, you know.
Right, and Miami's games were right there, you know.
And when they were right there, and so was that first Chicago game we lost. That was right there too. That was like a 4-point loss or something like that. It wasn't even like crazy, but you know. We didn't start out with Derrick Rose either. Remember, we brought him in after those first 3 games, and then he played that 4th game. That 2nd game against Miami was his first game.
Right.
So, you know, I don't think we would have lost against Chicago. And maybe, I don't know about the first game against Miami. We don't know. So, you know, one game was closer than the other. I
think the 2nd game was we were a layup away from overtime. That's all.
Oh, that was the Barrett miss at the basket. Something like that. Yeah. So, you know, when we brought him in, he almost made an instant impact. That's what that was.
Okay.
So, all right. Not bad.
Yes,
all right, man. My guy woke up, so I got to get out of here.
Yes, sir. So I think, as we say every time at the end of this episode, once a Nick,
always a Nick.
Always a Nick.
Okay.
Let's get it.
Yes, sir.
Let's get back in the W. Let's get back in the W in the column.
Will be a W?
Yeah.
Yep.
You sure? Not just half of the W?
Well, if you take 2 L's and you put them together, it's still a W. So learn your lesson and you get a W. Okay.
Right.
If you learn your lesson, you get a W. Okay.
Okay. Looking forward to it.
I'll see you later.